Hey guys, how's it going? Today, since it is the end of the month, I thought I would bring you my April favourites. I almost forgot what month it was. Because I've never done a favourites before, I'm sort of going to tie in other things that have been my favourites for a while. To you, it's just going to be my April favourite. I have a list. I actually don't have a lot of beauty stuff on it because I haven't really tried anything new other than the Ace Beauty Paradise palette, which I've only used for the 4 looks you guys have seen. So I feel like I can't call it a favourite even though I really like it. That's an honourable mention, I guess. Yeah, so it's mostly going to be like life stuff, I guess. It's a big mix of like everything. First of all, I'm going to start with the movies that I watched this month that I love. If you have seen my previous videos, I don't know why I do this. Who knows? If you've seen my previous videos, you will know that I watched Us and I loved it. And I watched Captain Marvel and I loved it. And I watched Glass and I loved it. Endgame comes out today. Today is Wednesday. Endgame came out today. Holy shit. Hopefully I'll be seeing it this weekend because I know it's going to be super busy, but I really don't want to get spoiled for it before I see it. I'm so excited. I saw a thing, this is like a total tangent, I saw a thing the other day about how like nerds everywhere are upset because Game of Thrones ends this year, which I don't watch so it doesn't really bother me. However, the MCU, I don't know if I can deal with that. We still do have the Spider-Man movie coming though, so that's good. And Star Wars is coming to an end. Oh my god, my partner and I watched all of the Marvel movies leading up to watching Captain Marvel, so we're all caught up for Endgame. And we're gonna do the same thing with all the Star Wars movies, even though we watched them like sort of recently, meaning in like the past 2 years. I don't really care. I'm super excited, but I'm also like, am I ready? My partner and I had this discussion that I think Endgame is going to do better purely because there has been 20 movies and because they have all come out in the past. Iron Man, I think Iron Man was the first one to come out and that was like 2006, 2008. So it's been like the past 15 years. Actually no, Hulk would have been the first one. But it's been like the past 15 years, so people have been able to watch them and get the whole story in a pretty short time frame, and it's so many movies that I think lots of young people are into it, whereas Star Wars, it has been going since the 70s, so like that's really cool, but it is only 9 movies and I feel like it doesn't cater to more of a young demographic. I'm still excited. Also, I'm like going on so many tangents, but I'm so excited for new movies. We get 2 X-Men movies this year. I am so excited. I love the X-Men movies. I liked the X-Men way more than I liked Avengers until Guardians and Thor Ragnarok came out. Before that, I like didn't really care for superheroes other than X-Men. Anyway, super excited. Other than Captain Marvel, Us, and Glass, that you know that I watched this month, I also watched a movie called They Live, which is it's from John Carpenter, who is one of my favourite directors ever. Big Trouble in Little China by him is my favourite movie ever. I have it tattooed on my leg. And I had never seen They Live. It has the wrestler Rowdy in it, which is super cool. You will see that I like wrestling later on in this video. I really enjoyed that movie. I love him as a director and I just loved the whole idea of it. I thought it was really cool, and I think even though it came out in the 80s, it is still really relevant. I also watched Isle of Dogs. I loved this movie. I don't think I've ever actually seen a Wes Anderson film, which I think I'm gonna have to start. I love this movie. I thought it was super cool. I love Japan and Japanese culture and I love dogs, so this was super cool. Animation was gorgeous. I watched a bunch of things afterwards on how it was animated. I thought the fact that the humans for the most part spoke Japanese unless there was a translator was really cool because my cat's coming. Hopefully she doesn't knock over the camera. The dogs can only tell what they're saying by their body language, and he replicates that for us, the viewer, as English speakers, to not really know what they're saying and sort of just get the gist of it by their body language, which I thought was really cool. Next, I have a video game, WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. I got it for $2 and it is the best $2 I've ever spent. Video game wise, I seem to play a lot more PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 games if I'm not playing The Sims. I don't know what it is. I don't care for MMAs too much. I don't care for shooters too much. So I pretty much just play older stuff and like replay games. But I saw this secondhand for $2, so my partner and I got it because we do like wrestling but not modern wrestling. Anything pre like 2012 I will watch, but yeah, I don't like WrestleMania recently happened. I didn't watch it because I don't really care. I think it's too overacted now. So we did the Road to WrestleMania and I was Batista and he was Rey Mysterio, and it was so much fun. And then we sort of just been like making our own teams. We've been playing as the Hardy Boys a lot and smashing everyone. So I've been playing a lot of this and it has been so much fun. I have a book I read on the Come Up by Angie Thomas. I actually read this in February because that's when it came out, which is interesting because her first book, The Hate You Give, came out in February 2 years ago, and I also read that then. But yeah, I really love this book. It is an Own Voices novel from a Black American woman who, well, she's actually a teenager. Like, Angie Thomas is a Black American woman, but the character in this is a teenager who would love to be a rapper, but there is also a lot to do with not necessarily police brutality like the first one, but more so just because of her race, people being prejudiced against her. So in this it's the security guards at her school, and also the fact that they're sort of in poverty, barely pay the rent, can barely put food on the table because her mum was an addict but is now out of it, and it's really difficult for her to get a job and things like that. Super hard hitting, nowhere near as much as the first one. The first one I cried a bunch, this one I didn't cry at all. Still really, really good. It is not a sequel of The Hate You Give. I don't know why I keep referring to it as the first one, but they do take place in the same neighbourhood, and this does take place after the first one. So they're more like companion novels, I guess. I highly recommend this and The Hate You Give. No, I don't have anything to hold up for this one. The next one is a TV show, and it is You Can't Ask That. It is on ABC iView, that's how I watch it. I have been watching this show for years, since it first started, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I have loved it. They just came out with a new season. It was amazing. I hate that the episodes are only like 20 minutes to half an hour long, and there was, I think, like 8 episodes in the season. Didn't take me and Matt long to watch it, sadly, but we restarted from the beginning because it's been years since we watched the first 3 seasons. Are rewatching that and it is amazing. If you've never heard of it, they get a group of Australians who are, I guess you would say they're a minority, but it's not necessarily like there is Muslims, there's African Australians, that's in the new season, there's short-statured people, that's the very first episode, but then there's also people in wheelchairs, there is survivors of disasters, there is survivors of suicide, there is terminally ill people, like it's such a wide variety. And one of my favourite things is understanding life from other people. If I could do anything as my job, it would be to travel and just talk to people and have them tell me about their life and what they have experienced, and just try and see things from other people's perspective. So that show is amazing. I love it. I definitely think Australia needs more things like that, especially because they have transgender, intersex, S&M, polyamory, and children from gay parents, which I know is a big deal in Australia. And then they also have ones on like race and religion, which is another big deal in Australia. We are, as a nation, very racist. I hate it. But yeah, so I definitely think it's like important to see things from other people's perspective. Anyway, next one is sort of a beauty product. It is the Nip and Fab Skin Glycolic Instant Fix Mask. I heard about this years ago, sort of. I am one of those people who likes ASMR, and Lily Whispers is one of my favorites, and she was using the Glycolic Instant Fix like pads, but I decided to get the mask, and this is what I use like twice a week instead of exfoliating. Physical exfoliators really scare me. The idea of like rubbing something rough into my skin and like potentially making little tears freaks me out. So I would rather use a chemical exfoliant, And this makes my face feel so nice and smooth and fresh. So this is what I have been using. And Nip and Fab is cruelty free. I have been watching a new anime. I'm like always watching Dragon Ball because I love it. I have also been watching an anime called Prison School, which I find really funny. It's really inappropriate. Do not watch it if you're a child. It's pretty inappropriate, but I also find it really funny. There's a bit of a love story in there. I don't care for romance in like anything. Like my biggest pet peeve with this book was that there was a romance storyline that was completely unnecessary. I don't care for romance except in anime. For some reason, just the way it is like different to in Western stuff, and I really appreciate romance in anime. Next up is 2 podcasts. I have been listening to Ologies. I have been listening to that a lot this year. I absolutely love it. I love learning things, and I have learned about so many things I didn't think I would care about. Like when I first got into it, I listened to all the ones that I thought I was interested in. And then, oh, by the way, mythology episode, amazing. I think mythology one is my favorite. I also like the museumology, that one was really good. And the what is it? The ology for like learning or like thinking about the end of the world. I really enjoyed that one too. However, the beer one, super interesting. Gut biome, super interesting. Like there's just so many things I didn't think would be interesting or I would be interested in that I now am because I listened to an Ologies episode on it. I've also really been enjoying Joe Rogan. I think he's funny, I think he's interesting, and I think the people that he has on his podcast are so interesting. I recently listened to the Kevin Hart one, which was really funny, the Mike Tyson one, which was really interesting, and he had, I can't remember her name, but she wrote a book called The Butchering Art, and she's like a medical historian. That was super interesting. I really want to buy her book now. I think he's funny, but I also think what they talk about is really interesting. The Elon Musk one, I love that one. So yeah, I definitely recommend Ologies and Joe Rogan. The JRE, Joe Rogan Experience podcast. Both really good. Next up is burger patties. Woolies has a brand called Macro, and they have vegan burger patties, and I love them. They're like Moroccan spice burger patties. They're delicious. I want to eat them all the time. You just like fry them in a fry pan. I put them on a burger with like some homemade coleslaw. So good. I also, so because they're like really big and they don't fit on any of the burger buns that we buy, I like cut off the edges so they'll fit on the burger, and then the edges I keep and I fry them up separately, and then I put them on like wraps with coleslaw, or I cut them up really small and put them in salad and stuff. It's just really delicious. Would definitely recommend. I'm not vegan or vegetarian, but I like to make better choices and reduce my impact. The weather. I love the weather. It's so nice lately. It's actually getting cold. I love it. It's great. Thank you, Australia, for actually getting cold, finally. It's been autumn for almost 2 months. And it's finally getting chilly. I can wear leggings all day. I could not do that most of the year. Usually really hot. I live in Queensland, really humid, gross, not good. But it's like 16 degrees at night. That's beautiful. I can wear a jumper. Wonderful. The next thing I want to talk about is a Lush item that they always bring out for Easter. It's like the golden egg bath melt. That is like my favorite scent ever. It's beautiful. I love it. I buy a million of them when they come out. I love reading in the bath. Currently I'm reading the Bachman books by Richard Bachman, which is actually Stephen King. It's the one with Rage in it that's like no longer in print. So good. I'm only halfway through. Like it's got 4 novellas, short stories, I don't know. It's got 4 in it. I've only read the first 2. Actually, I haven't even finished The Long Walk, but I finished Rage. If you would like me to do book videos, let me know. I would like to. I really want to talk about Rage, but I know it's controversial. I like reading in the bath. That's where that was going. So that bath melt is amazing. I do use bath bombs and stuff. I can't just have a plain bath. I usually buy bubble baths just because they last a little bit longer. And if I do get bath bombs, I like cut it up into like 4 because I'm not prepared to spend $8 on one bath. My one and only makeup item is glitter. I recently bought these 2. They're from VYS. I've never seen like a yellow glitter or a green like that. So I bought these. I don't think these are meant to be used on the eyes, so I don't really use them on my eyes. I just use them on my face. But I bought a bunch of these. They came in like a set from NYX at Christmas time. I think it may still be on the website, but I bought them when they had like 50% off because it's like $110 normally. So I got it for only like $55 and then like $10 shipping. I love these glitters. I like glitter in general. I've been using that a bit this month. I actually don't think I've used any in my videos, but when I'm not filming, I use these. I really should use them when I'm filming more. My last favourite is my baby. This is Artemis. I adopted her about a month ago. She doesn't want to be picked up. She was like laying doing her own thing and then I went and disturbed her. I adopted her about a month ago from RSPCA and I love her so much. I have a childhood cat who lives with my parents, which is like hours away from me now. The old house that we were in didn't allow cats or dogs, so we just had our rats and our fish. But this house, they let us have a cat, and at the moment I am unemployed, so I'm home all the time, so I thought it would be a great time to get her just in case there were like behavioural issues or something like that. But there's not. She's amazing. Her name is Artemis. I named her that. Not the name that the RSPCA gave her, I was not a fan of. Yeah, I love her. She is a 1.5 years old. She is a black tortoiseshell, so she's black with a little bit of ginger, which is like perfect because that's like Matt and I in a cat, because Matt is a redhead and we both wear lots of black. So it was just perfect. And I love her so much. I miss her when I'm not at home, and I'm like very rarely not at home. And that was my last favourite. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed listening to the ridiculous amount of things that I have enjoyed lately. Hopefully next month I will have more makeup things, because I guess that's what you're here for. I think I've never worn glasses on camera, I don't think, which is nice because I can see the viewfinder properly. Usually I can't, which is why sometimes I'm not in focus. I think I feel a bit more like a dad when I wear my glasses. Alright, bye.